So I've recently transitioned into foiling class this summer. It hasn't been as straightforward as I would have hoped it would be. So I've got Penny, who's a bit of an expert foiler, to give me some tips about it all. Pen, first of all, what would you recommend someone new into foiling class? You know, how should they get into it? What should they do? What class of boat should they pick?
Okay, so as for the first step you've already taken is choosing what boat that you're actually going to sail. There's so many different foiling classes out there and all of them offer some real positives and also some downsides. So things you need to look at is your own physical size, your own sailing ability, because some of them are much harder to sail than others, how much money you've got, and what you actually want to use it for, whether you just want to go splashing around at your local little club or whether you ultimately want to start racing it. So there's no right or wrong answer as to what boat you should buy, but get out there, go and ask, and the main thing that I'd say is ideally try and pick something where people at your club or in the near vicinity are already sailing, because the one thing you'll learn is having someone slightly better at you than you at foiling to give you some top tips makes a massive difference in the learning curve.
So how do you sort of figure out like your sailing skill and what boat it would be fitted to?
So quite a lot of sailing schools now in different sailing centres are offering demo days in foiling boats, so you can actually go out there either on holiday with a standard club holiday and go and have a go in a foiling laser or a moth or a wasp, or even some of the centres in the UK now have some boats that you can go and use. So you can go and have a little go and see how easy it is and how difficult it is and decide which one you're going to choose.
And in terms of sort of weight stuff, just get online and sort of see what the classes are aimed at and stuff.
Yeah, and ask around. Most of the classes, they want you to pick the right boat rather than their boat. So you get some really good advice from the actual class associations yourself. So the Moth is probably one of the hardest and the most expensive. And the last thing they want is someone jumping in there who's really struggling to sail, getting really frustrated with it and then saying it's a terrible boat. We'd much rather they jumped in something a little bit easier, took the stepping stone, started to learn and then decided whether they want to spend that much money on a boat later on once their skills have progressed.
So I bought my Wasp at the beginning of this year. So trying to get onto the water, I would definitely just sort of say indeed find some experts to go with. I sort of struggled for a few months on my own at my home sailing club and no one was around, and today I finally brought in an expert. So what would be your top sort of 3 tips, the first bits of getting out on the water in your foiling class?
So the first thing would make sure you've got the boat set up right. As you found yourself, Sass, if the actual system operating the foils isn't working correctly, you're onto a hiding to nothing. You'll never get out of the water, and when you do, you're going to come crashing back down quite painfully. So get the setup right, get the advice off the website and set it up right. The second thing is pick the conditions. Every foiling boat will have a perfect set of conditions when it's really easy. Too light and you're just going to get frustrated and you're never going to get foiling. Too much wind, you're going to be completely out of control and you're going to risk injuring yourself and breaking the boat. So picking the right wind range for the Moth or the Wasp, probably a little lighter for the Moth, 8 to 10 knots up to about 15 knots, and for the Wasp probably we're looking at 12 up to 18 knots that you could go out safely and have a really good first sail. And then finally is the launching area, because the last thing you want to do is damage a boat getting in or getting out. So make sure you understand how you're going to launch. You want to pick an angle that's going to get you off the beach the fastest and take you away and not keep piling you onto the beach, and learn how to sail or swim it out. So we did that today. I was pointing out to you that actually the Moth and the Wasp really easy to just hang onto the rudder gantry at the back and just point it straight off the beach and swim it out, and it gets you out there much quicker, less time splashing around getting cold and wet, more time sailing.